Welcome to the show. Those of you that are listening, my name is Garrett Day, and I am the co-founder and creator of Timbersite, which is a construction management software. Before that, I spent 12 plus years in the construction industry. My co-host with me today, my good friend, Dustin, Oswalt. Dustin is currently still in the construction industry, and yeah, this is episode 0. And today we're really going to lay the groundwork for what this is going to look like. How's it going, man?
It's going good. Super excited. Ready to dig in.
So this being episode 0, what we really want to do is just like lay the groundwork for what we want the podcast to be about, the vision for what we want to be able to provide for people, which is really just value. This first episode is going to be about Dustin and I kind of sharing our journeys in the construction industry and what we're doing now, which will hopefully kind of give us some credibility for speaking into these issues. But it's really our vision for the show to have experts on and people that can share their stories that have really been a success. They've been able to successfully scale their business, whether it's in the construction industry or not. You know, I think we want to have people on that they have a success story. They've started one place and they've been able to grow and scale their business to another place. And that's something that me personally, I'm excited about. I want to hear these stories as a business owner myself and as someone who's like worked in the industry and is still working to provide something valuable for people in the industry with software. I want to learn and I want to help other people learn what type of tools, what type of values they should have in order to like successfully run a business. So that's really the goal. We'll get into our stories and kind of get into like more vision for the show. But before we get into that, I just want to let you guys know that this show is brought to you and powered by Timbersite. Timbersite is a construction project management platform that helps you run your job smoother, faster, and with less hassle. With Timbersite, you can manage time tracking and estimating, change orders, and job schedules all in one place. No more bouncing between multiple applications or scattered spreadsheets just to keep things moving. Timbersite keeps everything centralized. You can spend less time chasing paperwork and more time growing your business, which is what we want to do around here. So it's built for contractors, teams who want to simplify project management without a huge learning curve. Visit timbersite.net to get started and see if it's a right fit for your team. Timbersite, it is the simplest project management tool on the market.
I agree.
Nice. All right, well, let's get started. Let's kind of dive into our stories, and just all transparency, Dustin and I, our stories cross a lot, thankfully. Like, we've had the pleasure to be able to work together for many, many years. We're currently kind of going down a couple different paths, so we don't cross as much. But yeah, we've had the chance to work together, do a lot of projects together, and wear a lot of different hats. And so I'm excited to hear your story, just kind of talk about things that you've learned through the years and in the industry, and kind of dive into that. So yeah, go ahead, man.
Sure. Well, I am from a small West Texas town, straight out of high school, moved to a bigger town to attend a college. And going to college, broke college kid, you hear that time and time again. So I was waiting tables, making ends meet. I mean, selfishly, I'll say I was a great waiter. The restaurant, I'm not going to name the restaurant. I'd like to, but I'm not going to name it.
Yeah.
Golly, they failed me. So I was barely getting by. And so I was taking a business management course at this college. And one of the assignments was to create a resume and apply for a few jobs. Yeah. So I did, and through that assignment, I saw this construction company was hiring. And at the time, I was like, yes, save me. Please hire me.
Any previous experience before this time?
Handyman type work, like maintenance for our high school, but no, I mean, Piquito.
Yeah.
So, so the guys called me up. They said, hey, let's meet up at this barbecue place. I'm going to buy your lunch and interview you. And I'm like, sweet, free meal. Maybe I'll get the job. Showed up. They meet me at the door. They're walking out. And so they catch me in the parking lot. They they interview me, and I get hired. So I'm thrilled, but I was kind of like, dang, weren't we supposed to have lunch? You know, I was really banking on that free lunch, but didn't happen. So they ended up texting me next day or two, meet us here at this site. So I just assumed, you know, we would do paperwork, kind of normal new hire process.
Right.
I was wrong. So I show up at this nice residential home, boots, jeans, nice shirt, and they put a roller in my hand and said, hey, roll out this mudroom, walls and ceiling, and here's a bathroom as well, paint it.
Yeah.
So I do not know how I did not get a speck of paint on my clothes. I mean, you didn't want a camera in that mudroom because I was probably painting all
they prepared you really well.
Yeah. I mean, So anyways, I painted this bathroom, and that was kind of day one, and that's where I started my construction experience. But I do want to revert back to the waiting job. There was not all negatives with that waiting job.
You're right.
Met my beautiful wife there at the time. She was dating someone else. I was dating someone else. But I always thought, dang, that girl's cute. And we were great friends.
Yeah.
Things went south in both of our relationships, and asked her out on a date. She denied the date. Months later, she came to her senses. I mean, she was playing hard to get.
Yeah.
But we go on a date. It's great. I'm like, I'm going to marry this girl. And so I did. Married her, have 3 little kids, and 1 on the way.
Nice.
So, anyways, there were pros to that waiting job.
For sure. There's always good things that come out of hard seasons.
Sure. You know, beautiful wife, $30 a night, you know.
Right.
So, anywho. But yeah, so I started painting in the field, and I mean, you were my boss for a good while.
Yeah.
So you eventually started training me how to run a spray rig. And so I was the paint guy, you know. You guys kept me busy doing a little bit of everything, but I was the paint guy. So I got really good, took pride in my work on spraying cabinets, really all of it paint related. So kind of just killed it painting for 3-ish years. And then our boss said, hey, I'd love to move you up to project management. So I jumped all over it. And I want to say I was around 23 years old, started running jobs. So,
young,
you know,
for sure. I would think for a lot of project managers, like 23 is pretty young.
Yeah. I mean, so, you know, I'm telling grown men, 50, 60-year-old men, hey, I need you to do this today. They've been doing it their whole lives.
Yeah.
You just heard my story, you know?
Yeah, right. No, for sure.
So
yeah, but they saw, I think, potential in you to be able to like manage things.
Yeah.
And I think we both have benefited greatly from, you know, some of the bosses that we've had in our lives that have at least seen potential in us and said, hey, like, let's just take you and like, I'm going to like kind of make you into something that we need that's going to be useful.
Mold you.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, started managing jobs. So a job would sell, and they'd hand it off to me. Hey, here's start, you know, run it to completion. So again, with dealing with men who had been doing these trades for their whole life, you really got to learn personalities and navigate that well, because, you know, you're not trying to step on people's toes, and I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job. So anyways, I feel like I was pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Just kind of working with our employees and then subcontractors, managing subcontractors, and then also dealing with the customer on a daily basis. I was constantly delivering bad news, you know, so figuring that part out. But the good news, you know, kind of smothered the bad for the most part.
Yeah.
But so, yeah, that was project management side.
Absolutely. I think that's probably like that is the difficult thing, in my opinion, for me, like, when I've been a project manager and kind of played that role, is just like every single day, it seems like you're delivering some sort of bad news, or you have the potential of like disappointing people, and it can just like weigh super heavy on you. I mean, that's really any business, anything you're trying to do. Like, you're obviously trying to meet people's expectations and meet the standard, and project management and construction in general, like, there's so many moving parts, so many things are really fluid, and you know, there's going to be delays, there's going to be things, and that's your job to minimize those, but for sure. And that's definitely part of my story too, but
yeah. And it's always different. You know, it's one thing if you're remodeling a commercial property, That's totally different than I'm in someone's kitchen and I blew up their kitchen for 3 to 4 months and they're in the backyard grilling every day and washing dishes in the tub.
Microwave on the back porch.
Yeah. I mean, so it's stressful and daily communication, it's me, whether it's good or bad news. So that was always interesting, but, did that project management for 5-ish years.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like I got pretty good at it. And at the time, also dealing with selection. So we were a selection coordinator, so to speak.
A whole nother world.
Yeah. So did that. And then our boss was like, hey, I need another estimator. Garrett is, sales manager. Mm-hmm. I need you under him and you were going to train me. And he basically offered that to me and I so quickly took it. I was like, get me out of the project management side.
Yeah. So some people love project management. It is
for sure.
For sure. Neither of us went to school for project management, but you can definitely get your, get your undergrad in project management, and it's there's lots to learn. We were definitely in the school of hard knocks when it came to project management.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably a lot of people in our listener. We definitely come from more of a, definitely residential, higher end residential remodels, which has its own set of challenges. But then also a lot of commercial work as well. So there's a lot of moving parts, but cool.
Yeah. So not all bad with project management, but a sales position opened up and I was like, yes, please, please.
Another chance for you to continue to grow your portfolio to some degree too. And all right, let's learn a new skill.
Yeah. So, starting in the field, managing, we already knew the ins and outs, and then we knew how to answer questions, how our boss wanted to run things. So felt confident in it. Had a great person training me, sitting right in front of me. Did a good job. Sales side, writing estimates, customer call us up and we'd go out and hear their scope of work and then take that to a bid or a cost plus estimate, whatever it looked like. But really on the front end, dealing with those new customers is awesome.
Yeah.
You never see the same job twice. We're always out and about on town looking at new cool things and, we're not always getting every job, but being able to see all these different opportunities and whether it's a basic bathroom remodel or a full home renovation with a big addition, it's awesome. Our job is awesome.
It is. And that's, there's so many aspects of construction and these are all things that we want to hit here on the show. As far as, what does it look like? Definitely wanting to invite an expert in to what does it look like for your teams to be trained to be proper project managers?
Right.
All the different aspects of that as far as not only managing expectations and communicating with the customer, communicating with workers, and also just the paperwork. I mean, there's a lot to managing a job well versus managing a job really poorly. And
for sure.
The only thing that, whether you're a business owner that's listening to this, or if you are a project manager or some sort of manager, really the only thing that matters is the bottom line. At the end of the day, we got to be in the black on the job, and we got to, be turning a profit. So for sure, lots of stuff like that. But estimating and just trying to win jobs, another thing, really want to talk about, what our conversion rate needs to be and how many jobs are we winning. And there's a lot that goes into that I'd love to delve into, but keep going.
Yeah. So, been estimating now for, I'd say around 3 years. I love every part of it. You've since, 7 months ago, have taken a new job. So you've left that construction company. So I've recently filled your shoes as sales manager. Right. So still writing bids, all the estimating, but really just dealing with contracts, all the front end work to selling a job. And then once a job is sold, those jobs that we're executing months later, still being there for our project managers and our staff, if there's any sort of questions are coming to me because we saw it on the front end.
Right.
So really just taking over that sales manager role, and it's been great. I love it. Cool. It's difficult at times, but ultimately it's an awesome career.
It really is. And I loved my time in construction, like really like in the field, just like boots on the ground, like in construction. And what's cool is like, you know, what I'm doing now, like software, like, you know, I've created a software like specifically for the construction industry. And I'm just really thankful that I'm able to kind of like just leverage everything that I've learned, all the things that I'm continuing to learn. And I get to keep learning I talk to different construction companies and tradesmen and home builders every single day, and I'm getting to hear like, what are their pain points and where are they at in their processes, and like trying to learn. So it's really cool. Well, cool. I'll just, a little bit of my background. Like we said, like we have worked, for the same company, for many years. Similar to you, like I didn't really have any construction background. Did stuff, remodeled a house when I was in high school with my dad, and I don't remember learning anything, honestly. Man, I must have.
I'd love to go, really inspect that trim work you did,
I'm sure. So. No, but so I was about to kind of finish up my undergrad at our university, and I was friends with these two guys, the owners of the construction company we've both worked for, and they just needed some help on the side. Like brand new company, they've been going for maybe like a year. It was just them two, and they were like, we need some help. They've had some other like kind of contract labor guys, and so I came on working a couple afternoons a week, and really took to construction for whatever reason. Really enjoyed trim work and mud work and just kind of all those aspects of the remodeling process. So I took to that pretty quickly, and it wasn't long that, things started to like just progress. Like I was getting married, and once I got married, I just decided to go on full time and asked them like, hey, is there an opportunity here? And they said yes. They took me on full time, and, since then, like I worked for that company for like, I think right at 13 years. And
it's a long time.
Yeah, no. And during that time wore every hat there really was to wear to some degree. Like now they've kind of expanded their processes, and like we've been able to bring in different roles, but absolutely like being able to like project manage for so many years was super helpful. Ran into the same stuff you ran into. Right. I mean, talking to guys, and you know who I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah.
Who like, hey, like I'm trying to guide them into saying like doing something a certain way or wanting something to look a certain way, and just knowing how to communicate that. Where like, listen, like ultimately like I'm responsible for this like turning out right, but being humble enough. Like, I think that's something that it's easy to lack humility when you're in a management role, because it's your skin on the line.
Sure.
It's your butt. And like, if you don't get it right, so you're almost more willing to say, you know what, just forget it. Like, I'm either going to do it myself, or like, you got to do it this way.
Yeah.
Instead of approaching people in more humility and just saying, hey, like, what is your idea? Let me listen to you for a bit. Yeah. And so that's something that I definitely learned, I think, in project management, and just being someone who's fairly young in the industry. I think humility is really key.
Yeah. Well, kind of on that note, there would be situations where, our guys were like, hey, this is the way I do it. And, I was polite to that, and sure. And then occasionally I would just say, hey, but what about this way? Just a different perspective. Yeah. You're looking at it right here. Let me step back and take a look at it from here. And most of those guys were like, whoa, I didn't even think of that. Right. But it wasn't hey, you need to do it this way, know?
Well, and that's just life in general. Sure. Like I think, I think humility and just like being willing to listen to others, like, that's another thing. Like that's what this podcast is about.
Sure.
We want to bring in experts. I want to bring in experts that are going to come, they're going to sit down, and we're going to ask like, hopefully like the hard questions and some of the things that they can impart their knowledge and I can learn, as a business owner, as someone who's trying to advance in my career. So really excited about that. But so I worked for that construction company. Like I said, for almost 13 years. And then, the Lord really had just like a different a different plan for us. Like while I was still working for the construction company, like I said, leading kind of the sales department, working alongside Dustin in estimating and sales, we really felt a need in the company for like a different like software solution. And, you know, everyone's trying to leverage technology to like make their life easier now.
Right.
Well, I do run into people who are not trying to leverage technology.
Yeah, I mean,
those people are still out there, but they're getting fewer and fewer and fewer because, to be really honest, like those people in the construction industry, they're starting to retire.
Right.
And their sons and their grandsons are taking over the construction.
What you just said reminds me of I won't say the name, but a concrete subcontractor.
Yeah.
You know, we're like bugging him, hey, we need this price for this job. And he'd literally pull out a cigarette pack and start scratching on the back, you know, like, here's your price.
They would like get a bid on the back of a cigarette packet.
Are you kidding me right now?
Right. But like that stuff still exists. So
It does.
You know, but where we were at, you know, we weren't like, I wouldn't say like where we were at, it's not like some small construction company.
No.
You know, we were doing, you know, I think at that time probably pushing, you know, 10 million a year or something, which is
Sounds
not like
right.
super small. And, you know, but we still, where we were at in our growth as a company, needed a solution, I think that was like easier and simpler and not so all encompassing. Like
Right.
a lot of the software solutions that were out there for construction companies at the time were just massive solutions that it's like, okay, this is made for a commercial contractor that has 100+ employees.
It's like overwhelming.
And there's so many features and you're paying for all of those features
That aren't being used.
Right.
Yep.
So that's where we really found ourselves. And it just so happened that, you know, someone in my family, my brother-in-law, like he's been a software developer for like 20 years. And I said, hey, like, what if we just made, like, what would it look like to make our, like a custom software for the company I work for right now? You know, we need to write estimates and we need to do change orders and we need a way to like categorize selections and scheduling. And yeah, there's a lot of things, but like, it's really not that many features. Like, what would that look like? So we kind of started this conversation. And I think, I mean, that was like 2021 or 22 where we kind of first started having that conversation. And yeah, like I talked to our bosses and I was like, hey, what if I just like on the side, I just start like developing this software. I'm going to take everyone's feedback and like, let's develop something that's really simple yet powerful and that fits our company really well. Like it fits like a kind of small to medium-sized construction company that doesn't need a huge feature base. And they were like, sure, like give it a shot. And if it's like good, like,
Well, yeah, and
we'll try it.
I thought it was genius. You had the connections to do that, and it's like you wore all the hats, so you know what we need, you know?
Well, that's what was so unique. Like, you know, like Timbersite, you know, the company that's literally powering the show today, like we built it while I was doing the construction work. You know, I'm helping manage projects. I'm writing the estimates. I'm walking alongside the customers. So I'm getting all this feedback. Meanwhile, waking up early in the morning, meeting with developers, and we're starting to develop this product. And, you know, fast forward to today, you know, we have a really substantial product that I think has stayed really true to the values. And like the values of Timbersite are like, we want to do something really simple, yet powerful and streamlined. And we don't want to have a feature set that just has all of this fluff that sure, there might be a company out there that can use all of those things, but we want to like really like stick to the major things and do them really well. So that's what we're striving at Timbersite. And it's cool because I'm still in the construction industry. Like I said, I'm hearing feedback from construction companies and tradesmen and home builders all the time, features that they want and how they can run their business a lot better. So yeah, the hope is that as that grows, I'll continue to be able to kind of stay in the industry. And like I said, like if you haven't figured it out, like Dustin, like they use like the company I used to work for, they use that software and have been still. So, But yeah, so that's kind of been like my story. I am married. I totally skipped that part. And my wife, she's already a little salty that she didn't get to be on the podcast. But I am married to my beautiful wife. Her name is Blair. And I have 6 kids.
6 kids. I did not know that.
I do have, when you have 6 kids, you don't think it's a lot. Because I look at other people and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have 10 kids? I know other people that have a lot of kids. And, but no, 6 kids, amazing kids. And yeah, we're just doing life. And, I did want us to just kind of like think like, what are some things that we've learned through just our professional careers? What are some things that like really matter to us that we've learned? And one of the things that I've learned, and I know I've shared it with you, and in fact, I've imparted it to as many people really as I can, because it's really the only thing that helped me know how to really balance all this. I think all of us, especially like, men and women who are like providing for their families. I know me and you as dads, fathers and husbands that are trying to like provide for their family. Like work can be really stressful. Obviously, work is stressful for everybody.
Yeah.
It's literally going to be toil, and like we're both believers, and like we were promised that it was going to be like that.
Yeah.
And the thing is though, like when I was in like project management, for sure, similar experience. I don't know that there's much more. There's not a more stressful job in construction, at least kind of at the level that we were doing it at. Project management is so stressful. Like I was saying, it's every day you have the potential of like disappointing people. And, me and you were running 12, 15, maybe more in some seasons, like jobs all at one time.
Which is insane.
It is. So it's a little different than if you like work for a larger like general contractor who maybe is in the commercial world, where you're set on this like huge project and it's like, this is the thing that you have to manage. It's a little different than that. Not saying it's easier or harder. But when you've got like 10 to 15 like homeowners and like, husband and wives that are like not only bickering with each other, like,
oh yeah. Those are so awkward.
Well, honestly, those are some of the awesome stories.
Sure.
Of like construction, where I'm sure if you've been in this situation where you're literally standing in someone's kitchen and a husband and wife start getting into an argument about like what they want to see happen in their house. And it's like, I've literally said to people before, hey, like, we don't need to decide this right now.
Yeah.
Like, let's just take a step back, like trying to like de-escalate the situation.
Oh man, I'll never forget. There was a fired up husband, the tile we did, a bathtub surround. It was a little off, and I agreed. But our subcontractor at the time, he was not an amazing tile setter. So we're meeting at 7 a.m. at his house, and I'm in the tub trying to figure out a solution. I'm not a tile guy, but I know enough.
Yeah, it's your job to figure out like what's the path forward.
So
here.
I'm the middleman trying to figure this out, and I'm in the tub, and they're kind of going at it, and I'm just like, I can't go anywhere. Right. This is a small hall bathroom remodel, but like situations like that, and I still have to complete this job, so I got to we're on the same team here. It's not me versus you. Maybe it's me and you customer against our tile guy because he's not doing a good job.
Right.
Just kidding. But I'll never forget that. In the tub, I'm 6'1", just kind of like,
right.
This is awkward. It's 7 a.m. too, so that's kind of weird.
No, for sure. But like that stress of kind of having to like not disappoint people, or like being able to manage like disappointing people every day, like it did weigh on me as like a young like project manager, and it added a lot of stress to me that I really didn't want to take home to my family.
Sometimes it was inevitable.
For sure. Like you go home and you like kind of disappear and you're trying to like decompress a little bit. And I think like every single person listening can relate to that.
Yeah.
Because work is work and it's going to be stressful. But the thing that like helped me the most is just like realizing, one, as a believer, like my identity is not in like these people's expectation.
Sure.
Like my identity, like who I am, really has no bearing on like whether these people are upset with me or if I disappointed them. And I just had to remember that. And one, like really just like priorities. I think it's so easy as like, you know, we both are like the main providers for our home, and the weight and responsibility of like providing for your family, it's very easy just to like, okay, I have to prioritize work over everything. And that is something that I want to be really clear with this show, honestly, that work cannot be your number one priority if you're going to have true joy and happiness in your life, and if you're going to take care of your family and the people that you love the most.
Yeah.
So
totally agree.
And it's something I'm reminded of all the time, because it's so easy to fall back into that for me, where it's like, let me just like work. And it feels like you're doing the right thing. But I've definitely learned as a husband and as a father that me working and putting that as like first priority, it might be providing for my family financially. And I can trick myself into thinking like, this has to be right because like money's king, right? Money's not king.
Not king.
Because my family and the people that I love and care about, they also need provided for like emotionally and spiritually.
Oh yeah.
And if I'm so tied into work, I basically don't have the capacity to pour into my family in really that's more important ways. And I know that's like countercultural. Like not everyone's going to agree with me that like money's not most important, but like I know both you and I know like money's not most important.
Yep.
And there is more to happiness and true joy than just chasing the dollar.
Yep.
But yeah. So I that's just something that I've tried to share with other people that have come in, and I know I shared it with you.
Oh yeah.
I've shared it with other project managers that I've seen come through where it's just like, they're like stressed. And I'm like, bro, like, are you thinking that this, like the fact that this customer's super mad at you right now, are you basically letting that define who you are?
Right.
You know, or whether you're a success or a failure just because they're upset. And like, if you can just remind yourself of kind of those truths, like it obviously super helps.
Yeah. I mean, I remember there was a time going home, I'm stressed out and I'm like stressing over someone's toilet not showing up. Right. And I'm like driving home, decompressing. I'm like, that is dumb.
Yeah.
But I always think that it's almost a daily reminder for myself is where's your identity?
For sure.
It's not in work, you know.
For sure.
But that's the Holy Spirit. So
yeah, and we're all going to work with people that don't share the same perspective that we have.
Yeah.
But you know, hopefully, like with this show, like, you know, I want to have guests on that share those values, that understand that there's more to life than just work. And I mean, work is good. Like God created work. You know, the fact that it's toil is not great. Like that it's like hard. But yeah, like you can totally do work and glorify God and honor the people that you love and respect at the same time.
For sure. So. Well, and one thing our boss always told us, and a reason I'm still working for the guys, they're great men of integrity, but it's like, yes, you know, kingdom minded, but while we're here, just go and do great work and just lay your head down at night knowing, hey, I did everything I could today and I provided for my family well. And, you know, just those in mind, those things in mind.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. As much as I maybe like don't want to talk about tariffs are like definitely something that's like happening today. There's a lot of fear and like worry about them. And I think the construction industry, I think there's a lot of people who are probably like business owners that are probably saying, oh gosh, like, is this going to be like a COVID 2.0? Or are we going to see like huge inflation on material prices? And like, to me, it definitely seems like things are moving in the right direction. Like things are kind of de-escalating, and I'm hopeful like, you know, the administration will kind of get a handle on things and we won't see an effect. As far as like materials, like estimating, like have you really seen a jump in anything?
You know, I've been asked that question pretty often here recently, and I don't know to, I don't know those answers yet. I kind of hear through the grapevine. So, for example, one of our main metal subcontractors, he's worried. Again, we don't know what the prices look like yet, but he has just bought a lot of red iron and is storing it in his yard, you know, with anticipating of it going up. So, no, right now it's kind of shaky and it changes daily. But it's something me as an estimator, I need to get a grasp on, that way I can kind of guide our customers in the right direction.
Absolutely. I mean, there's just like in COVID, there's several different strategies that you can kind of implement to try to mitigate uncertainty like that. So one of the things, just like you mentioned, is going ahead, if you have the capital, buying the material beforehand, having it on so that you can at least secure your price. Right. Because I think that's what most business owners are worried about is they, sign a contract with a customer. We haven't bought the material yet. And all of a sudden the material skyrockets and they don't have the ability to go back to that customer and say, hey, we're going to have to ask for a little bit more money to help cover these material prices. Yeah. So, I remember COVID, like, there were people who were putting 3-day limits like on their bids.
Oh, I know, it's ridiculous.
7-day limits. And I think we even were putting our bids at 7 days. Like we could hold these bids for 7 days.
It's crazy.
It is. And I don't think that's where we're going.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't foresee that. I'm not an expert. But I don't see that happening. So yeah, hopefully business owners can kind of level heads will prevail. And like, no one needs to freak out just yet. But, look forward a little bit, try to educate yourself and see if there's ways that you can maybe hedge yourself and protect against potential inflation and how these tariffs are going to affect us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, when picking the right, like, general contractor, like if you're a homeowner and you're thinking, man, like, what are the most important things for picking the right general contractor if you want to do a home renovation or like an addition or something, man, I think that the most important thing, and I think you'll agree, is one, obviously quality. Like every single general contractor is going to like brag about, we have the greatest quality. Yeah. Like those aren't the things, like that should be expected from everyone. So like, that's not the thing. I think fit is really important. I think it's not just like personality fit, but you need to evaluate this general contractor that you're going to be able to basically do life with this person for the next 6 months to a year. Yeah. Of course, inspect their quality. They need to have competitive pricing. But like I said, I think everyone's bragging about that. Like, we're going to be competitive. We're going to have good quality. But I think it's like really good fit. What type of person are they? What type of integrity do they have? That would be probably my number one consideration when going with the general contractor, just making sure that they're a right fit. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that statement. One kind of red flag for me would be if you're meeting with the contractor and, for one, always kind of go with your gut. You can read the room. But if that contractor is like, I can start next week, that's usually never good.
That can be a red flag for sure.
And I just, at least the construction company we work for, we've never been able to start next week unless it's tiny. Right. But a job of significance, that's a red flag for me.
Absolutely. I think probably the number one thing that drives like the length of a project, whether it's a home renovation or addition, bathroom remodel, anything like that, is just like the number of trades that have to be involved.
Yeah, the coordination.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously like a bathroom renovation, a lot of times you can have someone go in there and do the demo, and a plumber can go in there, rough it all in. The tile guy comes in, there's some finishing work, and it can be a pretty quick process. But when you have an addition happening or like a kitchen renovation, it can easily kind of snowball to where there's 15 different trades involved all of a sudden on an addition, from doing like tree work. Like if you're doing an addition to your home and like we have to remove a tree, or if someone has to do all this dirt work or demolition of landscaping. And then, there's just a lot of things that can kind of snowball that. And then obviously like weather, plays a huge factor if you're doing something that's going to be exposing your home to the elements.
Oh yeah, lead time, materials.
Yeah, lead time. So I think those are some of the biggest reasons to why people are surprised to when they hear like, oh, okay, like how long will a kitchen renovation cost or take? They're like 6 months. Like
yeah.
It just and everyone varies because every job is a different size. But
so it's all about managing expectations. So yeah, if you're real honest on the front end and just let them know. I mean, usually they're going to be sticker shocked by, wow, it really takes that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are just so many moving parts where, and customers don't want to hear this, and you usually don't want to say this, but that's not the only job that's going on, but they hired you, so they want it done in a timely manner. And we would love to do it in a timely manner, and that's our goal.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's multiple jobs. And so you're kind of juggling all these jobs, and, it is going to affect the day-to-day on that one job. So you try to do the best you can to consolidate time and get it done in a timely manner, which that's where the construction management software plays a huge part.
Absolutely.
In successfully running a job.
Yeah, I mean, that's every business owner's dream is that, all right, how can I successfully scale my business to where I have more work going on, more revenue coming into the business, and software can play a huge role in that.
Yeah.
And that's what Timbersite's goal is. Like, we want to have a centralized place where everyone's has project schedules and estimates, and everyone on your team can see everything that's happening within a project all in one place.
Yeah.
With the goal for you to either save more time, be more efficient, and be able to grow your business and ultimately make more money.
It's essential.
Yeah. Yes. I love considering, like, as a general contractor or a tradesman, like, what makes a good client, because that's the side I've always been on. And you and I both know we have met with different clients. We've met with homeowners or like business owners who have a commercial property that needs to be, and we get back in the truck and it's like, no. I'm not sure we want to get this job.
Right.
And then we get back in the truck and we're like, oh my goodness, like, those people are awesome.
Yeah.
And you were just telling me a story about a couple that's just like great.
Oh, yeah. The ballpark topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we often, as an estimator, customers are wanting to know what's the ballpark, and we hate getting that question.
But it's asked literally every single time.
A $500,000 job from the hip. What's the ballpark? And I didn't know it was 500,000, but no. So all that to say, there's pros and cons to the ballpark figures. Well, we are designing an awesome home. It's a big home, converting it into kind of like a wedding / event center.
Yeah, like a venue.
Yeah. And then upstairs is like an Airbnb, and it's an awesome property. Well, we're in the middle of the design phase, and the husband says, hey, what's a ballpark on this? I said, man, give me a few days. I'll get back with you on the ballpark. There's a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah, you got to think through it at least a little bit.
So I go and do my due diligence and start putting numbers together. Well, I have my price range, and it's high. I'm prepared to tell this gentleman, north of $400,000.
Yeah.
So I call him. It's a Friday. This was like 2 weeks ago. It's a Friday afternoon. I call him. The wife answers the phone, and I can tell they're traveling. Like, I'm in the Suburban or whatever on the speaker. And so I'm talking to them, and I said, hey, I have that ballpark ready. And he goes, hey, wife, what? Wait, Dustin. Hey, wife, what's your guess? And she's like, 375. I was like, okay. And he's like, oh, wow. Well, my guess is 285. And I said, okay, well, the wife's a lot closer. It's going to be around 400,000. I can't even get the 400,000 out, and all I hear is, damn. And then I hear her slap him. And I'm like, I'm kind of frozen.
For sure.
How do I recover this conversation? So it ended well, but there's pros and cons to ballpark. So we're trying to secure this job, and I think we will, and we're going to do a great job for them.
Yeah.
But you hate to lose a customer before you ever had them.
Absolutely.
So, but again, pros to it. So there's some times where you're kind of reading the room, and maybe we're not the right fit. Maybe their budget isn't appropriate to this scale of job. So being able to, do a from the hip number, fairly accurate, it kind of eliminates tire kickers, time wasters.
Yeah, for sure.
So again, pros and cons. So that was a funny story. I've been telling a lot of people that. And actually, we met up with them last week to go over some more design stuff. And I brought it up, and we were all just laughing. So, but they're a great couple.
Well, and that's a sign of a good customer. Like when you know that you have someone that you want as a customer, it's a really good feeling. And you almost have to be careful that you don't try too hard to get them as a customer, because sometimes you can be like, well, like you almost sugarcoat it for them, or maybe maybe you're almost too fair and it's not good. It's good for you, but like for sure, like I think people who can like couples or people that just like communicate well with you, and they're like reasonable people. Like that's what general contractors and other trades folks are like looking for, is just like reasonable people. Yeah. Who can communicate well with you and that really understand you when you're trying to like speak to them. Yeah. And there's so many people that they have such unrealistic expectations, and you pretty much know that right from the start. Hopefully, like you walk into their home and, they're already saying things that you're just like, well, that's unrealistic, or that's not going to happen. Right. Or they're throwing around numbers like, hey, I want to remodel my kitchen for like $10,000 or something. And it's like, and we've had those hard conversations where it's like, let me stop you right there. Let's just have a quick conversation about like, what is y'all's budget and where are you guys at, and where do you want, where do you see, how much you guys see on spending and whatnot. And those are some of the challenges of like doing sales and construction. You really got to be able to just communicate well, set expectations before even the sales process happens, so that there's a good relationship moving forward. Yeah.
And I feel like in the construction industry, we say it time and time again, the bar is set so low because you have all these contractors just doing all the little things wrong. And maybe not doing things with integrity and honesty. So it's easy to be here when you just do things right and be respectful and communicate, be transparent.
No one should not be doing the simple things, which, what's unfortunate is the simple things, communication, honesty, just doing things with integrity, good quality. Like we say those are the easy things, but there are plenty of companies out there that those are the hard things. Yeah. But it goes right back to choosing a general contractor. The easy things should be like communication and like transparency. And if you're not seeing that as a homeowner, if you're having to kind of get information out of your contractor, that should be a red flag that maybe they're not the right fit for you, because ultimately they should be bombarding you with, this is what's happening tomorrow, and this is what we have scheduled for the next week, and these subs are lined up, and that is what you should expect from a general contractor or a trades contractor that you have at your home. Yep. If you see someone planning their schedule on the back of a cigarette packet,
run.
I would probably run. Or give them my card for Timbersite, and then run.
Yeah. Tell them, get the heck out of my house.
Yeah. Well, cool, dude. It was great to like hear your story. Man, we have so many stories that I'm sure will kind of like come out in this show. Some we can't tell, some we can tell. But that's all right. That's right. And hopefully like our hope and our goal is that as we start to do these episodes, this is episode 0, that you find value and just like valuable content that you're able to share with others. So please do like share this content with others. Let them know where you heard it from. If you know someone who's looking for a software solution for their construction business, let them know. Point them our way. And we just want to be a company and people that provide valuable content. Before we get out of here, I would love for us to like bring to the show like maybe some stuff that like lately we've just been like loving, Is there anything that you're just like, man, I've been really into? I know like Dustin and I are both super into golf.
Love golf.
It can't be golf every time.
No,
but if you play a new course or something, it could be
sure.
It could be a new course or your new wedge.
Yeah, man, I need new clubs. But no, I don't, and I cannot afford them. So golf's expensive. But for me right now, is basketball. Like I got the bug.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not NBA basketball. I watch that occasionally, but most of it's garbage. Yeah. But no, it's playing. You know, you play with us.
Yeah. Pick up basketball.
Pick up basketball. We play. This sounds nuts, but you know you're getting old when you do this. Meet up with a bunch of middle-aged men at 6 a.m.
6 a.m.
6 a.m.
That's the only time middle-aged men have time to play basketball.
That's why I do it. So I've been doing it since November. We'll play twice a week. This week I played 4 times. So
it's crazy.
My wife, it's good and bad. So she gets to sleep in a little, gets to have her morning routine, and I'm not bothering anyone, right? Yeah. We're not losing time. But I am not a morning person. I have my alarm set at 5:15, 5:20, 5:25, and 5:30. And I like need all those mental barrier, like, you know, just that buzz every 5 minutes. It's so dumb.
Think about the lack of sleep you're getting, though, if you could just train your body to wake up with one alarm. Well, I mean, I don't,
but my thought process, again, it's kind of dumb. No, it is dumb. It's, I see it and I'm like, oh, 5 more minutes.
Right.
Oh, another 5 more minutes, you know? Yeah. And I'm really good at 5:30. Okay, feet hit the floor, I'm up. But in bed, trying to, you know, mentally get over that obstacle, that's tough. But as soon as my feet hit the floor, I have my clothes laid out. Again, I'm over 30.
Right.
I have almost 4 kids now. I'm lame. Yeah. I'm lame. So clothes are made, you know, set out on the table. Yeah. I sneak out of the house and we go play basketball from 6 to 7 and play, you know, usually 3 games. And I'm always getting hurt. Like this morning, my wife, she was laughing. So she went to the restroom late last night. She sees my clothes, my shoes, and I have the ibuprofen bottle sitting next to my shoes. I kid you not. You
preemptively take it.
No, not normally. Okay. Not normally. So my lower back's been hurting. My knees, I did something the other day on a game-winning shot, I will say.
Okay.
I tipped it in the game. We all go to work, so I highlighted my day. But so I hurt my knee.
That's pretty sad.
Hurt my knee, lower back's hurting, and so I don't ever take ibuprofen, but I had it there. And this morning, she was like, did you really have the ibuprofen just sitting next to your clothes? I said, yeah, because the other day when I took it, it didn't kick in until I was done, so it was pointless.
Right.
But no, today I was on ibuprofen, felt great. Ibuprofen, I be playing. So
no, you did not, bro.
I did, dude. You know, full of it. So
okay.
Anyways, been playing basketball, love it. So again, not taken away from family time. I show up and I'm in a really good mood when I get home.
Yeah, for sure.
And so kissing all my babies, talking to my wife.
It's working out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it is working out. It is cardio, but not weights, you know. Yeah. I got to a point in my weightlifting career, like, you can only get so big. So just kidding. No, weightlifting, it's phases for me. But no, basketball, I've been loving it. Again, 4 days this week, which is nuts. But yeah, like right now, my back is stiff. So yeah,
I need to get back up.
I need the weekend to recover.
Cool.
So what about you?
Yeah, something I have, you know me, like, I honestly, the fact that I'm now in like software and technology, I hate social media.
You were never.
I know. Like, I'm literally like recording a show right now that people are going to see on social media. And I think it serves its purpose for sure. Like, it definitely has a purpose. But like, the reason I hate it is really just because I'm tired of getting distracted. In my life. So like, I literally had this idea. I was like, dude, what if there was an app that was like, we could call it Dumb Phone, or it just like changed the interface of your phone to be like a flip phone or something. Like, it just, there's no more apps staring at my face. And of course, like every single idea I ever have had, there's already an app. It's called Dumb Phone.
It's called that?
It's called Dumb Phone.
Are you serious?
I paid them $9 to buy it. And I have it on my phone now, and it just gives you the capability of like change the interface of your phone. So like when you open up your home screen, it's not just like all the like apps staring at you. Yeah. And, you know, like, I have enjoyed it just like anything. I mean,
Dumb Phone.
Well, you know, like like when Apple came out with like time limits, like app limits.
Yeah, I don't use those.
Well, yeah, like I turned them on and then it's like, oh, add 15 minutes. Oh, add 15 minutes. Oh, it's no different. Like with dumb phone, like you can't get rid of your app library. So I can just scroll all the way to the right and there's all my apps. So like, I'm no joke. I'm almost at the point, like I need technology, like 8 to 5, I use technology. Like I'm on Teams all day long. I'm emailing, I'm meeting with people. Like I'm in Timbersite, you know, like I'm doing testings, I'm doing demos and all sorts of stuff. So like, I love it. But after 5 o'clock, I'm kind of thinking about getting a flip phone. Like dude. And there's actually a lot of phones out there now that are dumb phones. Like they're more like paper white displays, like a Kindle or something would be, and it doesn't have apps. And I know you're totally different.
I'm very different.
I know.
It's okay.
TikTok and like whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I watch my fair share of YouTube. That's the only way I can learn anything anymore.
Yeah.
But I need to change that.
You know what's funny? So my coworker was just telling me, he's like, hey, look at this, my buddy. And he's my age, he's 31.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, my buddy just got I don't think it's a Razor, but it's a flip phone. And I'm like, how is he texting you on this group chat? Like, what's it called? Is it T9?
Yeah,
T9,
dude,
you know?
T9. I used to rock T9, like, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, I know a buddy that has a flip phone.
That's wild.
You know, like that's the direction I'm moving. And I think like a lot of people are kind of like, obviously like technology for work and like it has its place. But I think there's a lot of people that are like ready for like a mental break.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think about it. I'm not crazy enough to do it, to make the jump, but I definitely think about it. Like, and especially with our kids, you know, I'm sure many people are this way. You know, you're hanging out with kids and like it's a habit to reach for the phone and take a look. And so like for me, I've been really disciplined here lately of just like, hey, it can wait. And man, kids grow up so fast.
Right.
Like so fast. So put that stupid phone down and be present, you know?
For sure.
But I do think about it all the time. Late at night, just scrolling on reels, dumb reels, like they know my personality is just dumb stuff popping up, you know? So I think about it. Maybe one day I'll dumb my phone down, dumb phone, but not a flip phone. For sure, not a flip phone.
Cool.
But hey, I'm happy for you, man.
Thanks. Well, Dustin, like this was fun. I mean, episode 0, like it was a lot of fun. Good to hear your stories. Once again, man, if you found this content like valuable, share it with a friend, like, subscribe, leave us a comment on whatever platform you're on. Like, would love to hear if you plan on continuing to listen. Would love to hear like what type of guests, what type of topics you'd want us to talk about. We're all for that. Would love some feedback. And don't forget, we are brought to you and powered by Timbersite.net. Go check it out. See if you're a construction professional or if you're a business owner, see if this solution could be a really good fit for your company. And yeah, until next time, we'll see y'all later.